Welcome to the Discourse Analyzer AI Toolkit, where articles come alive. You're hearing the audio version of our article. For the full text and an interactive experience, check out the link in the description below. Interact with any section using our AI assistant to enhance your understanding. Let's explore.
Introduction to the Sociocultural Approach in Discourse Analysis. The sociocultural approach in discourse analysis offers a profound lens through which to view language as deeply intertwined with cultural and social contexts, emphasizing its role in shaping and reflecting societal dynamics. This approach delves into how language functions not merely as a communicative tool but as a pivotal medium through which individuals construct meaning, negotiate identities, and engage in social practices. It highlights the importance of understanding discourse as actively involved in shaping social realities, rather than simply reflecting them. This introduction sets the stage for exploring how the sociocultural approach enriches our comprehension of discourse by focusing on the interactions between language, culture, and society, and examining the ways in which language acts as a mediating tool across various social interactions. 1. Defining the sociocultural approach in discourse analysis. The sociocultural approach in discourse analysis fundamentally views language not just as a system of signs and symbols but as a dynamic tool deeply embedded within cultural and social contexts. This perspective explores how language operates as a pivotal means through which individuals and groups construct meaning, negotiate identities, and engage in social practices. It posits that discourse is not merely reflective of social reality but is actively involved in shaping it. At its core, the sociocultural approach emphasizes the role of language as a mediating tool that bridges individual cognitive processes and the wider cultural and societal structures. This approach draws heavily on Vygotsky's theory of cognitive development, which highlights the importance of social interaction and cultural tools in the process of learning and development. In the realm of discourse analysis, this translates to an investigation into how language serves not only to communicate information but also to enact social relationships, construct identities, and organize knowledge. 1. Language, culture, and society. The sociocultural approach insists on the inseparability of language from its cultural and social environment. Language is seen as culturally and historically situated, carrying the weight of societal norms, values, and ideologies. Discourse analysis from this perspective involves examining how these cultural and social elements are reflected, reinforced, or contested in language use. It recognizes that language is imbued with power, capable of both reproducing and challenging existing social structures. 2. Discourse as a site of meaning and identity construction. A key focus of the sociocultural approach is on discourse as a primary site for the construction of meaning and identity. Through discourse, individuals and groups express their identities, negotiate their positions within society, and engage with the cultural narratives that shape their realities. This perspective seeks to uncover how discourse practices contribute to the ongoing construction of social realities, how they reflect and enact power dynamics, and how they serve as a medium through which cultural and social norms are transmitted and transformed. The sociocultural approach in discourse analysis, therefore, provides a comprehensive lens through which to explore the multifaceted role of language in society. It encourages analysts to consider not only the content of discourse but also the broader sociocultural and historical contexts that give it meaning. By focusing on the interaction between language, culture, and society, this approach sheds light on the complex processes through which individuals and communities create, maintain, and negotiate their social worlds through discourse. 2. Key concepts in sociocultural discourse analysis. In sociocultural discourse analysis, several key concepts form the backbone of how researchers understand and analyze the interplay between language, culture, and society. These concepts not only provide a framework for examining discourse but also highlight the dynamic processes through which social meanings are constructed and negotiated. Key concepts in sociocultural discourse analysis. A. Mediation. Central to the sociocultural approach is the concept of mediation, which originates from Vygotsky's theory. It refers to the process by which human activities, including thought and interaction, are shaped by cultural artifacts, tools, and signs. In discourse analysis, language is viewed as the primary mediational tool, enabling individuals to interact with their world and with each other, thereby influencing cognitive processes and social practices. B. Cultural tools. Cultural tools encompass a wide range of symbolic resources, including language, that individuals use to navigate and make sense of their cultural environments. In sociocultural discourse analysis, attention is paid to how these tools are employed in discourse to convey cultural meanings, facilitate social interactions, and transmit cultural knowledge. Analyzing how cultural tools are utilized in discourse reveals the ways in which culture shapes and is shaped by language. C. Interactional norms. This concept refers to the unwritten rules and expectations governing social interactions, which are deeply influenced by cultural and societal contexts. Interactional norms guide the ways in which individuals use language in social settings, dictating aspects of communication such as turn-taking, politeness strategies, and the appropriate use of language forms. Discourse analysts explore how these norms affect communicative practices and the construction of meaning in interactions. D. Language socialization. Language socialization pertains to the process through which individuals acquire not only linguistic competencies but also the cultural norms and practices of their community through participation in social interactions. This concept highlights the role of discourse in transmitting cultural values and social norms, emphasizing that learning a language involves learning to communicate in culturally appropriate ways. E. Impact of micro-interactions and broader sociocultural contexts. Sociocultural discourse analysis considers both the immediate context of language use, micro-interactions, and the broader societal and cultural influences, macro-contexts, on discourse. This dual focus allows analysts to examine how everyday interactions contribute to the construction of social realities while also considering how these interactions are influenced by larger sociocultural forces. This perspective underscores the reciprocal relationship between individual language use and the broader cultural and social structures in which discourse is embedded. By integrating these key concepts, sociocultural discourse analysis provides a comprehensive approach to understanding the complex ways in which language functions within cultural and social contexts. It allows researchers to delve into the nuanced processes through which individuals use discourse to navigate, reflect, and shape their cultural and social environments, offering rich insights into the constitutive role of language in social life. Conclusion. The sociocultural approach in discourse analysis presents a nuanced framework for understanding how language is intricately woven into the fabric of cultural and societal norms. It champions the idea that discourse is not merely a reflection of social reality but a potent force in crafting that reality, imbuing language with the power to shape identities, relations, and the societal structures within which we operate. This approach spotlights the dynamic interplay between individuals and the sociocultural contexts of their interactions, revealing the profound impact of language on the construction of social meanings and identities. Frequently asked questions. What is the sociocultural approach in discourse analysis? The sociocultural approach in discourse analysis examines the complex interplay between language, culture, and society. It explores how language acts as a mediating tool, facilitating individuals' and groups' construction of meaning, identity, and social relationships through discourse. How does the sociocultural approach view language? This approach views language not merely as a communication tool but as a dynamic force deeply embedded in cultural and social contexts. It emphasizes that language both reflects and actively shapes social realities and identities. What are the key concepts in sociocultural discourse analysis? Key concepts include mediation, emphasizing how cultural tools like language shape human activity. Cultural tools, which are symbolic resources for making sense of the world. Interactional norms, guiding communication practices. Language socialization, the process of learning cultural and linguistic norms. and the impact of micro-interactions and broader contexts on discourse. How does the sociocultural approach address the construction of meaning and identity in discourse? It investigates discourse as a site where individuals and groups construct meaning and identity, focusing on how language facilitates these processes within specific cultural narratives and social practices. Can you explain the concept of mediation in sociocultural discourse analysis? Mediation, derived from Vygotsky's theory, refers to how human thought and interaction are influenced by cultural tools and signs, with language being a primary mediating tool that shapes cognitive processes and social interactions. What role do cultural tools play in discourse according to this approach? Cultural tools, including language, help individuals interpret and navigate their cultural environments, shaping how cultural meanings are conveyed, social interactions facilitated, and cultural knowledge transmitted in discourse. How are interactional norms considered in sociocultural discourse analysis? Interactional norms are seen as the societal and cultural rules that influence communication, dictating how individuals use language in social interactions and how these practices contribute to the construction of meaning. What is language socialization, and why is it important in this approach? Language socialization is the process through which individuals learn both linguistic skills and the cultural norms of their community through participation in social interactions, highlighting the role of discourse in cultural transmission. How does sociocultural discourse analysis integrate micro-interactions and broader contexts? It examines both the specific contexts of language use and the wider societal and cultural influences on discourse, emphasizing the reciprocal relationship between individual language use and broader cultural and social structures. What makes the sociocultural approach in discourse analysis unique? Its emphasis on the role of language as a cultural and social force makes it unique. By examining how language is intertwined with cultural and social practices, this approach provides deep insights into the processes through which social meanings, identities, and relationships are constructed and negotiated through discourse.